Hello again, and welcome back to the channel. I just had to restart this recording, and because I swore in the first 15 seconds, which is just a bad habit. Anyways, I've been seeing this in the news lately, something I wanted to talk about, and I don't think many people are going to like my opinion on it, but it is what it is. I've been seeing a lot of people. There's been a lot of people talking about it, and a lot of articles being written about it, and a lot of people have opinions on it that I think are ill-informed at best. Like in this situation, you're ignorant at best. At worst, you're ideologically captured, I think. And yeah, so Khamzat and his ties with Kadyrov, the leader from Chechnya. This is what I've been seeing a lot about. I've been seeing it in regards not just him, as well as Justin Gaethje and Henry Cejudo and Kamaru Usman and whatever. But people seem to be more upset with Khamzat because the relationship seems to be a little bit closer, as you would expect, obviously, because he is born and raised there, despite what people like to say. He didn't move to Sweden until he was much older. He was quite literally born and raised in a war-torn country. And yeah, I don't think people are going to like my opinion on this, so I'm going to ask beforehand, please hit that button, the like and subscribe button. Pretty please. Come on, you know you want to. All right. So, too bad this ain't tea. There's recently some photos and videos that have been circulating about Khamzat training with one of Kadyrov's son, who is apparently training and trying to get involved in MMA. And at first we saw sparring footage of Kadyrov's son, who's quite a bit smaller than Khamzat Chimaev, somehow managing to get the better of him in the grappling department. Gee, I wonder how that happened. Anyways, do you guys honestly think that Khamzat Chimaev was getting whooped in that training session? Or do you think he's like, I'm not going to fucking hurt this kid? I can't hurt this kid, so, I'm going to let him beat me in a roll, and that's okay. But that's not the part that people are upset about. The part that people are upset about, well, they're upset that he's hanging out with him in general, at all. But then he went and cornered him in his first fight, and people are, well, it's obviously a fixed fight. Well, obviously, right? They're in Chechnya. And the leader of Chechnya's son is having his professional, or whatever you want to call it, his debut. You think they ain't picking an opponent that's like severely in this man's favor? I want all of you listening to stop, just get off the moral high ground. Pretend that you haven't seen anything in the media. And just put yourself in his position, or try to. Like, this is, I find that a lot of people really, really strongly, lack empathy. And it's usually the people who say that they're empaths, or that have empathy, that lack it. And you can see it right away on a person. Like, if somebody is talking shit about Khamzat being training with Kadyrov's son, or anything to do with his relationship with Kadyrov, then you lack empathy. And not only do you lack empathy, you're an extremely privileged individual. Because if you knew what it was like to grow up in a war-torn country, and then to have a leader that maybe you don't like everything he does. Maybe he does some horrible shit, but a leader who genuinely is trying to lift your war-torn country out of poverty, at the same time as being like the most terrified man, but at the same time also helping fund your MMA career, paying for your medical treatment when you thought you would never be able to fight again. I mean, he's probably given him money for living expense. I think the same thing has been said about Habib. I don't know whom, if it was the same man involved or if it was another leader, but it's insane to me to think that you guys just assume that like he's well off, and I just don't get it. Also, another thing, this narrative, like I keep hearing the term war criminal get thrown around. I want someone to define that for me. War is war. I want someone to define it for me. If he's a war criminal for what? I don't know. Like what do Russians do in war that we don't do? What, they poison people? Okay. So he's a war criminal because he poisons people. I mean, I get that he does, that they may have some serious like human rights issues, but so do we over here. And quite frankly, I don't think it's the West's job to tell any country how to operate. And I don't think that our morals should be instilled on them over, like I think that if you are one of those people who pretends like they care about what's going on the other side of the world, you're kidding yourself, and you're virtue signaling to yourself to show that you're a good person. Like, do you think anybody fucking wakes up and immediately thinks about the war in Ukraine and Russia? No. Anybody that lives in the West anyways. You're kidding yourselves. It's something that you put on your fucking profile picture, and that's that. I want to know why he's a war criminal. And I don't want to hear about human rights abuses, because human rights abuses are human rights abuses to us. They may not be considered that over there. And for all you dumb fuck lefties in America who all of a sudden hate Russia now, well, that's pretty funny, considering, despite what the media may tell you, their political leaning is farther left than it could ever. Like, nationalism doesn't necessarily make you right wing. It's fucking insane to me, dude. They're literally like the closest thing to communists that, besides China. I mean, it's fucking wild that all of a sudden the tables have turned. But also on the other side, dude, all these fucking idiots like all up in Russia's ass and shit. It's like, yeah, you don't think they're feeding you propaganda either. Like, shut your fucking mouth, dude. Everybody's feeding you propaganda, okay? The United States is responsible for more fucking death by far than any of these countries. And I am not one of those lefties that's like America bad. I understand the way that the world works. And I know it's ugly. And I know that if you're going to be the most successful country that's ever been, you're going to have to get in a few wars. And it's unfortunate, obviously, right? But it's just the way things go. There's nothing you can do about it. And it would be that way no matter what economic system you'd like in place, or what political system you want to see. War happens everywhere. And I would really like it if somebody could illuminate why a Russian leader, dictator, whatever the fuck you want to call him, should be considered a war criminal to anybody when, like, George W. Bush isn't. Or Barack Obama isn't, for that matter. Why is it a war crime to poison someone? But it's not a war crime to blow up a whole family with a drone strike over, like, a mistaken identity or, like, bad information, bad intel. Like, what? Why does the West have such a fucking... The West needs to get off its high horse, because it's really fucking funny watching assholes pretend that we are better, right? When we've got little girls getting their boobs cut off. When we've got teachers showing children sex toys and like what to do with them. You know. When we've got there's so the West is not all it's cut out to be, and I'm also not one of those like Andrew Tate stands who now all of a sudden thinks that the United States and Canada and Britain, whatever worst places on earth, and I'm gonna go live in Abu Dhabi or Dubai. I wouldn't want to live there. Fuck that. They always bring up the low crime, the low this, the low that. You know why that exists over there the way that does? It's because of a lack of freedom. They want a society that's orderly and clean to an extent. And that's fine if that's what they want. But it lacks freedom. I wouldn't ever want to live somewhere where I'm going to jail for 10 years if I get caught with weed. You know what I mean? But I'm real sick of this narrative, man. Also, do any of you think that, like, this guy is, like, super stoked about helping him out? Because the way that I see, like, these kids, like, Kadyrov's kids and Kadyrov's interacting with people, what it reminds me of, and I'm sure a lot of people know what I'm about to say is true. There's always the one friend of the group, right? That is really weird, or nobody really likes. He's either a dick, he's strange, like whatever. It's just, he would not be your first choice as someone to hang out with, right? However, man's got rich parents. Right, man's got the in-ground swimming pool. Right, man's got the fridge full of pop sodas. If you're American, in Canada we say pop. Man's got, dad's got the cool car. They got the boat, all that shit. And you're like, yeah, this kid's kind of annoying. And his dad's a bit of a dick, but we get to do all this cool shit when we're here. Guy's got the best birthday parties. You know what I mean? In school, and especially in elementary school, I was nice to everybody. So I had this problem a few times where kids that I wasn't actually friends with, like I wouldn't hang out with them outside of school because they were strange. But because they were strange, I saw other people bullying them, and so fucking nah, I'll just be nice to you. Because you shouldn't burn bridges, right? And, but that's what they seem like to me, man. That's what Kadyrov seems like to me. He seems like that rich friend that you're not really stoked to hang out with, but you get to do all the cool shit. You get to fly in a private jet. You get to go on a yacht. You get to fucking shoot all the guns. You get to do whatever. Because over in that part of the world, he is king of the world. And another thing, too, that you have to keep in mind is like Khamzat has family over there. And I saw people commenting, no, he wasn't coerced, this and that. You don't need to be. The fact that you have family over there is enough to be coerced. Especially, like, two things can't be true. Either he is who you say he is, Kadyrov being, Kadyrov is who you say he is, or he's not, right? But if he is who you all say he is, and all think he is, this horrible war criminal, who commits human rights like a fucking whatever, okay? Khamzat would be scared of that man. Two things can't be true, dude. Well, they can be in certain circumstances, but this can't be. He can't. Everything that all you fuckers think and say about Kadyrov cannot be true. And Khamzat also not be afraid of what he might do if he says no. So, keep that in mind, you fucking retards. Like, Jesus Christ. Yeah, he's the worst war criminal in the fucking history of ever. And then also, Khamzat should tell him no. Fuck. You guys dumb? Dude, come on. If he is who you say he is, I don't think you'd say no either. You like to think you would behind the comfort of a screen and a keyboard. But if you were born and raised in Chechnya, and yeah, his mom's over in Sweden, okay, cool. You think his mom was the only family member, bro? Come on. Think. You say no to a guy like that, it's the same shit. Dude, a North Korean saying no to Kim Jong-un, what do you think would happen? I want people to stop with this shit. Because the thing is like... And I don't agree with this, but there's a real way that you could spin some arguments to make the United States as a whole look worse than these men. Because if you break it down, like the vast majority of Congress, whoever the fuck has a say in what you guys do, pretty sure in order to go to war you need like 90% of the vote, right? So that means that the vast, let's spin it. How you guys do. That means the vast majority of congressmen or women or whatever the fuck, senators, I don't know. Not too familiar with Joe shit. I don't know what the percent is. I'm pretty sure for normal shit it's like 60%, and then you need even more if it's something as serious as war. Let's see, I'll Google it quick. I'm not as prepared. I didn't realize I was going to make this point. It just came to me. Where's the fucking percent key, dude? There it is. Percentage of Congress that voted for Iraq War. Sweet home Alabama. $82 Democrats and 200. There were 209 Democrats, so 40% of Democrats and like 90-something% of fucking bro. A lot. The vast majority, okay? So that means your argument for calling people war criminals are pretty fucked up. So the vast majority of your representatives voted to go to war, right? Undo a bunch of shit that was not anything to do with why they said they were getting in there. And I'm not even making a stance on this. I'm telling you how this can be flipped to make you guys look just as bad as Kadyrov or Chechnya or Dagestan or Putin for that matter. The vast majority of your representatives are, as the name would suggest, are representatives of the general population, I guess you could say, of the United States of America, right? They were voted in to represent their area in the House of Congress and to try and pass legislation that would coincide with what their platform said and what they said to get elected and this and that and this and that. So you could then spin that and make the argument that like 90% of the United States population wanted to go to Iraq and invade and fuck shit up in Afghanistan and fuck shit up all over the Middle East, and then decide 20 years later, you know what, we're out of here. Here, Taliban, take it. Right? And I'm not saying I believe this, but I'm saying you need to think and be careful before you guys start shitting on other people who have lived a totally different life than you, who have grown up in a totally different part of the world than you. And the reality is that whether you watch Fox, CNN, MSNBC, left-wing, right-wing media, you don't know what anybody is like over there unless you've been there and or, you know, have some sort of first-hand experience, I guess. But anyways, leave Khamzat alone, dude. Leave him alone. Like, what the fuck? Just leave him alone, please. Stop trying to bring political shit into fucking MMA. But also one more thing, all you fucking retards that are like super left wing that also like the UFC, which I didn't think there were any. But in a few comment sections, I'm like, dude, how did these people get here? Because here's the thing, dude. If everybody in the UFC listened to the politicians that you guys like, there wouldn't have been any UFC for the last 3 fucking years. And the growth wouldn't have been anywhere goddamn near there. And there wouldn't even be a Khamzat Chimaev for you to talk about. So, fucking shut up. Stop complaining. Watch UFC. Stop trying to act like you got the moral high ground. And subscribe to my channel as well. You fucking... I don't know. See you later. Subscribe, please.